Chelsea. I was going to make a pumpkin chipotle soup in my Instant Pot, and I thought that while I was making it I'd bring you guys along so that you could see how I use it. A lot of you have questions a lot of times about the different functions of the Instant Pot, so I thought this would be a great time to show you what I do. So first I just have all my ingredients laid out here, and that's something I always like to do when I'm cooking, is get everything chopped and prepped before I begin. But I found that's especially important when you're using the Instant Pot because everything goes so quickly. And the first time I remember I cooked with it, I was trying to get stuff chopped up while I thought that it would be taking a long time, and it really doesn't, and that's the beauty of it. But because of that, you need to be prepared for your next step before you even start. So let me show you what I have prepped here. Alright, so first I have onion and garlic, and I'm going to saute that first. Then I have some potatoes and apples, and these came in my CSA this week, so I thought they'd be a great addition to the soup. I also have a can of pumpkin. You can, of course, use fresh pumpkin in this recipe, but it's not really actually pumpkin season around here yet. It's just a nice chilly rainy day, and I thought pumpkin would be great. So I just got some canned pumpkin, and this is just pumpkin, not pumpkin pie mix. I've got my spices here. So in here I've got a chipotle pepper that's been seeded and some adobe sauce, and I've pulled out a little bit of the sauce as well. I've got some cinnamon, nutmeg, pepper, and salt. And then I have my vegetable broth, and then on top of my vegetable broth, what you're seeing there is some ground red lentils and some ground pecans, and I just took both of those and ground them in the Vitamix for a few seconds just to get them all ground up. It'll just make them cook faster, and it'll give the soup a little more protein and a little more of a boost. So what we're going to do first is we're going to saute the garlic and onion. So I'm going to do all of this in my Instant Pot, and I'll leave directions as to how to make the soup if you don't have an Instant Pot, but let me show you. So this is my Instant Pot, and it's got a saute feature, so that's what we're going to use first. So we're going to push the saute button here, and it's going to say 30. You don't really have to adjust that because you're not going to saute for 30 minutes, but it's just going to get it started. It's going to beep when it's ready to start sauteing, and it's going to just take it just a second to heat up. And then once it's heated up, we're going to put the garlic and onion in there and just let it saute just until it starts to turn brown a little bit. So what method we're going to use to make this soup is we're first going to saute the garlic and onion, like I said. Then we're going to add all of the ingredients to the Instant Pot. We're going to put it on the high pressure for 4 minutes. And when that 4 minutes is up, it's going to beep, and we're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then we'll release the pressure valve. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do all of that. Alright, so we're going to let it just heat up just a little bit more, and then we're going to put the onions in. So I'm going to pause you until it's ready. Alright, so I think we're good to go ahead and put the onions and garlic in there. So I've got them here, and I'm just going to dump them into the pot. When you're using the saute feature, you're not going to put the lid on, you're just going to leave it open. And we're just going to scoot these around just so that they all get nice and toasty in there. You'll notice that I didn't cut those up uniformly or any particular shape or size. I just want to get them cut up enough that they're all going to get nice and browned. But the nice thing about this soup is we're actually going to puree it at the end. So we don't have to worry the exact size of everything that we're cooking. We just want everything to be a similar size so that it all cooks evenly. So these are just sauteing down in there. We'll be back in just a second once they're done sauteing. Alright guys, so these onions have been in here for about 2 or 3 minutes, and they're just starting to get brown. We definitely don't want them to get too toasty or get anywhere close to being burnt. We just wanted them to be softened up just a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the spice blend. So remember, in this small bowl, I have all of my spices. So we're going to want to add those in now to the Instant Pot. Just going to pour those in there. And then we're going to just stir those around just to make sure that everything gets covered in spices there. And this smells delicious. Alright, so now that all that's covered in spices, we're going to want to add our potatoes and our apples. So I'm going to dump those in now. Alright, so now I'm going to stir those around. I'm going to set you guys up here while I do that. One thing that I love about cooking soup or anything in the Instant Pot is that it doesn't heat my house up. So like I said, today is a dreary day, but it's not really that cold. It's a little chilly, but it's not, it's still pretty warm in the house. So obviously I don't want to have the stove going for a really long time while all of this soup cooks. But with the Instant Pot, I can just put it in there and it's not going to heat up my house at all because it's all contained here in the Instant Pot. Alright, so let me show you how great these vegetables are looking here. So I've got my potatoes and my apples and my onions and garlic and all my spices. And so now I'm just going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I'm going to add my can of pumpkin. And again, like I said, if pumpkin is in season, you can feel more than welcome to use fresh pumpkin, which is definitely not in season around here. And then I'm going to add my vegetable broth with my lentils and my walnuts. I'm going to make sure I get all of that out of the measuring cup, and then I'm going to stir that around really well, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, let me show you what this looks like. So I've got all the ingredients in there now, and it's all stirred up, and I know it looks a little messy right now, but don't worry, it's going to turn itself into a beautiful soup. So now I'm going to put the lid on. First I'm going to click on cancel to turn off the saute feature, because remember we were sauteing those vegetables. I'm going to lock the lid in. I'm going to move the sealing valve to sealed instead of venting. So we want it sealed because we're going to pressure cook. And then here on the front, I want to do high pressure for 4 minutes. So I'm going to click the manual button to get to choose my minutes. I'm going to make sure it's high pressure light is on right here. And then I'm going to click the minus button all the way down till 4. And then it's going to give about 10 to 15 seconds, and then it's going to beep, which means it's ready to begin. And when it beeps, it's going to turn back to on instead of 4 minutes, and that on means that it's coming up to pressure. So it's going to take it a few minutes to come up to pressure. How long it takes completely depends on what's in there, the temperature of what's in there. I have found if I've been sauteing before I bring it to pressure, it takes a lot less time to come to pressure because it's already warm in there. But then if I put cold ingredients, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer. So every food based on density, temperature, everything varies on how long it takes to come to pressure. But once it comes to pressure, the valve is going to seal on the top, and the valve is this thing right here. See if it'll focus. There we go. See that silver thing that's down in there? And you obviously would never want to touch the lid once it's hot, but I just started it, so it's not hot yet. Since I have it unsealed, that's going to come up and seal this up. And when it does that, it's going to come to pressure, and then it's going to count down the 4 minutes that I added. So all in all, it takes a little more than 4 minutes for it to come to pressure and then cook. But basically, it's really not that long when you think about it. So it's going to come to pressure, cook for 4 minutes, and then we'll be back then. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so the Instant Pot has finished cooking, and it's been about 10 minutes since it beeped to say it was finished. And so the pressure is still there in the Instant Pot, and you know that because this silver thing is still up, and you don't want to touch this right now because it's very hot. But I want to go ahead and release the rest of the pressure so that I can go ahead and open the lid. You can't open the Instant Pot lid until the pressure is released. I could have let it naturally release for longer, but it really only needs about 10 minutes. So I'm going to turn the pressure valve and release it, and it's going to be really loud when it does. So just be ready for that. So I'm going to just do this. And then that steam is going to come out. So I'm going to pause it while it does, so it'll take it just a second. So all of the steam is almost out. It's not yet because you can still kind of hear it coming out a little bit, but I wanted to show you when it does finish, that silver circle there is going to drop down, and it should do it in just a second. Let's see if we can watch it do it. See that? When that drops down, the pressure is released from the Instant Pot, and then we can actually open the lid. The lid's unlocked when that drops down. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. And we do want to be careful when we open the lid because it is really hot. So we just turn it and we open it, and it's going to take it a second because you kind of have to wiggle it sometimes because the pressure is still there a little bit. And it's going to be really steamy when it opens up, so we want to be careful. So this is what it looks like now. And one thing I did forget to tell you guys, I meant to add 2 more cups of water to it before I pressurized it. So I did forget to do that before I put it in, so I opened it back up and actually added 2 cups of water that you guys didn't see. But all of that will be in the actual recipe, so definitely follow the recipe and not follow exactly what I was doing. So I'm just going to stir this up now. We just want to stir it and get it all stirred up. You could eat this soup like this. I prefer it pureed, but you could eat it like this if you wanted to. If you were planning on eating it like this, I would have suggested maybe cutting everything a little bit smaller. But since I was pureeing it, I decided not to do that. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to transfer the soup into the Vitamix, and I'm going to puree it until it's smooth. If you have a stick blender, this would be a great time to do it, an immersion blender. Or if you don't have a Vitamix or a good blender, you could always use a food processor as well. Or like I said, you could just eat it like this. So I'm going to blend it up and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I've just finished blending the soup, and I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like. I did dump it into this bowl just because I wanted to go ahead and clean the liner to the Instant Pot, but you could have put it back in the Instant Pot to serve it from there so that you didn't even have to clean another bowl. But I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like. It smells beautiful, it tastes amazing, and I just wanted to show you what a beautiful fall color it is, and it's a nice and thick soup. I'll show you with the spoon here just how thick it is. So it's a beautiful soup. It's a great way to get some extra vegetables in, and it's really delicious. I'll put all the information as far as the recipe with the actual ingredient amounts and all of the ingredients actually listed down below. And if you have any questions about using the Instant Pot or about the soup, just let me know. I'd love to hear how you like it if you give it a shot. Alright, bye.